straight into the roof of the net. Nice one. Straight down the middle. So a good performance from both teams here today.
Hi, welcome to Firstpost. I'm Rupha Ramani. Let's get started. Now, the emotional tales continue here on Firstpost. This test series between India and England is throwing up the most heartwarming stories of fighting the odds and struggling all the way to the top, to finally bringing smiles on every sporting fan's faces. Akash Deep lost his father and his brother and was forced to go back to his farm. But the sport has a way of bringing the deserving and the most hardworking talents right to the forefront. His story coming up. And speaking of fighting all the odds, what is the reason for Carlos Alcaraz's slump? It's been 6 months now since he's made it to any ATP event final. We try to give you the answers for that one. Now, if you're talking about concerns and woes, Pakistan cricket team seems to be caught in one. A fiery barrage from Mohammad Hafeez, the SAC director of cricket, is spilling the beans, and it's not pretty. Also, we get you some glamour on the show here today. Shah Rukh Khan has exploded all over the internet after he decided to go and meet the women cricketers ahead of the opening day at the Women's Premier League. So lots lined up here today. But first, a look at the headlines from Sports 360. We'll start with football. Germany's World Cup winner Toni Kroos announced that he will come out of international retirement. The Real Madrid star has now made himself available for the 2024 Euros. This after the national coach asked Kroos to reconsider his retirement. Kroos had called time on his international career in 2021 after having played 106 games. The Major League Soccer, or the MLS, started on a strong note for Inter Miami, and Lionel Messi stamped his authority on the game. Inter Miami defeated Real Salt Lake 2-0. Messi assisted Robert Taylor as Miami took the lead in the first half. Second goal was scored by Diego Gomez late in the second half on an assist from Messi. Over in cricket, Indian pacer Mohammad Shami has been ruled out of the 2024 Indian Premier League tournament. He will now undergo surgery for an ankle injury. Shami is the lead pacer of the Gujarat Titans franchise. This, of course, comes as a massive blow to the team, who have already bid farewell to captain and all-rounder Hardik Pandya. In tennis, women's world number one Iga Swiatek has made it to the Dubai Open semi-final. She beat six-seeded Qinwen Zhang 6-3, 6-2 in straight sets. Swiatek is bidding for her 8th career WTA 1000 title this week. Her next opponent is Russia's Anna Kalinskaya. And we're summing it up from golf. Pro golfer Tiger Woods' son Charlie Woods failed to qualify for the PGA Tour event. The 15-year-old was competing in a pre-qualifying event in Florida. Charlie fired a 16-over par score of 86. This would have been his maiden PGA appearance had he succeeded. This test series between India and England is bringing some of the most incredible emotional stories to the forefront. And here at Firstpost, we love to celebrate such narratives. They are rare, and when they happen, we must applaud. Akash Deep, a man of very modest beginnings, he comes from a village, Buddy, that's around 200 kilometers or close to 130 miles from where the fourth test is being played. He dreamt of playing for his country. His father, a farmer, was not too keen on his son choosing this path. But Akash paid no heed to this. He tried to persevere. During the course of his struggles, his father and his elder brother passed away. And for a moment, Akash probably felt this was not meant to be. He returned home to be with his mother, but how can you stay away from what truly gives you happiness? For him, it was cricket. He traveled to Delhi to try and make it. Nothing. Went to Kolkata, and that's where something clicked. He started playing domestic tournaments and in some time started getting noticed, particularly by the Bengaluru Indian Premier League scouts. Akash featured in the India A side that played against the English Lions and impressed with his bowling. He was one of the top wicket takers, but that's not all. This morning, after an emotional speech by his coach Rahul Dravid, Akash Deep was handed the very coveted, much-desired Team India cap. His mother was there, speechless, and after that emotional welcome, it was only fitting that Akash did something special on the first day in international cricket.
I dedicate my debut to my father. I wasn't able to do anything in life when he was alive, and it was his dream that I do something good in life. So I dedicate this performance and debut to him. It was very emotional for me. I lost my brother and father in a year. My journey has been tough and my family played a big role.
This was him at the press conference at the end of day one. Rightfully, he came out to speak to the media, and he also says a phrase in Hindi, which is, and I will translate it, he says that he had nothing to lose. He has lost a lot already in life, so there is only much to gain. And what a day it was for him. Now, I can go on to talk about his 3 dismissals in the first session that completely dismantled the top order of the England lineup. But I want to start with that wicket of a no ball. Zach Crawley had no idea what was coming at him, and the way the stump went flying was a sight that any true lover of the sport would cherish. For a fast bowler, even more so, because the sight of a stump somersaulting is rare, and that just showed this debutant had the fire and was doing the right things. So the first wicket didn't take too long to come. He dismissed the 2 centurions for England in the series with superb deliveries. The one that sent back Ben Duckett was a beauty, taking the edge to be pouched by a young keeper. And just the way everyone crowded around Akash after that, hugging him and applauding him, showed just how much this meant to not only him, but everyone else in the team. How much this success in Akash's career truly meant for the rest of his teammates. And as the 2 teams walked off the field at the end of the first session, everyone stayed back as Mohammad Siraj, the other fast bowler, nudged and pushed Akash to lead the team off the field. These are scenes that truly make watching sports that much more special.
I wasn't nervous, had spoken with my coaches, so I wasn't tense ahead of the game. I don't know how it happened, but I used to take every game as my last game and tried my best. Bumrah advised me to drag the length back, and that's exactly what I did. I felt bad. I was just hoping that the team doesn't lose because of that.
Such innocence and yet so much maturity, speaking about how he plays every game as if it could be his last. And why not? Because that's exactly going by the hardships Akash has experienced so far to lead him to feel this way. No matter where he heads or ends up some years down the line, from this point onwards, what will stay with him and many of us are these moments. Summing up in Rahul Dravid's own words, life's come a full circle for Akash, who started his journey from a small village very close to the city of Ranchi, where he has now made his international debut. Like we say, some scripts cannot be written any better. Now, what does a disgruntled employee do? Well, he or she tries their best, and of course we'll get to it. Yes, that's it. Well, he or she tries their best while on the job, but the true indication of whether they like their job lies in what they say about it once they quit. And let's be honest, no one likes a tattler or someone who washes dirty linen in public. Unfortunately, that's been happening a bit too often in Pakistan cricket. There's a lot of beans being spilled, and it's probably only creating more fissures in the squad. It's creating more rift and making things that much more difficult in the dressing room. Because let's face it, a happy dressing room will translate into a successful team. Mohammad Hafeez, being appointed as tournament director, came with a lot of bells and whistles. He's been a seasoned cricketer himself and reasonably successful too. And there was a lot that was expected from his stint. It probably was a stopgap arrangement that could have translated into him being a permanent position, had things gone smoothly once he took charge. Within months, reports started emerging of seniors in the squad not really getting along with Mohammad Hafeez. Pakistan media was reporting this, and the consecutive losses on the field across different formats was not helping Hafeez's cause either. And just as soon as the new Pakistan Cricket Board, the PCB chief, was instated, he was sacked. Hafeez was sacked. Now, weeks after the forced separation, Mohammad Hafeez isn't holding back. He's come out all guns blazing, tossing dirt on the players and the system.
When we went to Australia, I told the players to take care of their fitness levels. I also asked the trainer about the fitness of the players. He told me a shocking thing that 6 months ago Captain Babar Azam and Director of Cricket Mickey Arthur told me to stop checking the players on the fitness parameters and let them play the way they want.
What Hafeez is saying is that the entire setup when he took over was flawed. There was lack of discipline, and the very basic in any sport, fitness, was a massive compromise. Now let's put the bitterness that Hafeez is obviously feeling to the side. If this were indeed true, it is shocking. We are at a time when longevity, stamina is paramount across sporting disciplines. We are at a time when youngsters are coming up in great numbers up the ladder rather rapidly and pushing the veterans, the seniors, to perform, which only means that the senior sportsperson just has to be more fit and strong to keep the competition at bay. That's just how it works now. So if Hafeez's expose is to be believed, then this is preposterous for Pakistan cricket. It's great to play freely and play as you want to express. A rule book for a team is fine to adopt. Like England with baseball, anything with conviction is all good as long as it has a purpose and it gets the desired results. But discarding fitness seems a little bit of a radical thinking for any cricketing side, any sporting team. Hafeez has more to add to this. He gets into the details.
When the fat levels of the players were checked, the skin fold of all of them was high. For most players, it was 1.5 times the limit. They were unfit and some of them couldn't complete a 2-kilometer trial run. The decision taken 6 months back overruled the set criteria for fitness. You will suffer defeats if the fitness is like that.
We all know how important being fit is today. The rage of yo-yo tests is real, and you can sense the tension when yo-yo tests are about to be taken. Just recently, we spoke about a football manager, Pep Guardiola, getting upset about one of his key footballers gaining 1.5 kilos or close to 3 pounds of weight. So Hafeez is not entirely wrong. The pressure to be better comes down to some of these things. They become the marginal differentiators. But having said that, a lot of these very Pakistan cricketers are reveling in the PSL, the Pakistan Super League. It's a T20 tournament. The very Babar Azam, whom Hafeez has squarely put the blame on, alongside Mickey Arthur, has just done something rather remarkable. He recently overtook Chris Gayle as well as Virat Kohli to be the quickest to reach 10,000 runs in T20 cricket. So fitness or no fitness, someone like Babar Azam continues to be unstoppable. But these kind of statements coming out as made by Mohammad Hafeez only affects the team environment. Nothing good can come out of this. The best of the team can do and should do is shut out these statements and band together. But if these remarks hold even a shred of truth, then there's another issue that's on their hands. Now, if this year has belonged to Yannick Sinner so far, steadily threatening the top spot, that job was a Spaniard's at least till last year. When Carlos Alcaraz burst onto the scene, he blew everyone away. With his sheer raw pace, his talent, he reminded everyone of Rafael Nadal, but just a version 2.0. And after the highs of Wimbledon, many believed he would continue on that path. At 20, the Spaniard, in fact, had won 2 Grand Slam titles already, so there is so much promise. But the last few months have seen an unusual slump in his career, from winning trophies to crashing out early in tournaments. And now sidelined with an injury, it doesn't get any pretty for Carlos Alcaraz. We try to decode here what's gone amiss with him and his game.
Carlos Alcaraz, who was touted for bigger things, finds himself in uncharted territory. From experiencing the highs of Grand Slam wins to now struggling to reach the final hurdle, let alone win it, it's been a very tough last few months for the Spaniard. Not too long ago, he was considered the next big thing, was even compared to the likes of Rafael Nadal and Novak Djokovic. And the accolades weren't just based on the results, but also his on-field demeanour, his attitude. All of that seems to have changed. Being raised in Spain, the obvious assumption is that, like his very established predecessor, Alcaraz would be most comfortable on clay. But he turned that perception on its head when he won 2 Grand Slams across 2 different surfaces, not clay. In 2022, he pocketed the US Open. And then came the big one, beating Novak Djokovic at the 2023 Wimbledon final. This should have just guaranteed an upward trajectory. A Grand Slam win over the best can completely change your world, the way you play, your intensity, but that's not what happened with Carlos. Alcaraz seems to have lost his steam since that memorable Wimbledon win. And these facts ought to stun you. Alcaraz has not won an ATP title, let alone a slam, since Wimbledon 2023. That's July, 7 months ago. And what's worse, he has not made it to an ATP event final since his appearance at the Cincinnati Masters final in August 6 months ago. If that's not a slump, we don't know what is. And 2024 didn't start off too well for him either. Alcaraz was unable to defend his Argentina Open title, and a few days later walked out of the Rio Open due to an injury.
I spoke with the physiotherapist on the code and we decided together that I would continue to see if it improved. It didn't, so we preferred to be careful and withdraw as a precaution. It wasn't a problem with the code. I got hurt in a change of direction, and that happens on this type of surface.
If the injury layoff and the losses are not enough, the fact that Alcaraz parted ways with his coach can only be the final blow. Juan Carlos Ferrero, a former tennis player himself, has not been a part of the team owing to health issues of his own. And clearly, that ought to impact the mind space of any sports person. You draw inspiration from your support system, and not having that in your corner can also pull you down. And then there is Jannik Sinner snapping at his heels. The growing rivalry between Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner has resulted in 3 enthralling chapters in 2023. Sinner won 2 of them, and that included Miami and Beijing ATP events. Sinner has a 4-3 advantage over Alcaraz overall. If Alcaraz is crashing out early from the tournament, it's his rival Sinner who's grabbing the spotlight. First for winning the Australian Open, and then for winning the Rotterdam Open. So the pressure on Alcaraz is building. All eyes will now be on Alcaraz, how he makes a comeback. With the French Open just some months away, Alcaraz would be hoping to change his fortunes. But will it be easy? Will the Spaniard show the same determination like he did in the past?
Cricket is not just a sport in India, it's a culture. From top industrialists, politicians, movie stars, you and me, we find ourselves somewhere invested in it. Probably some for the bragging rights too occasionally. Bollywood superstar and a global icon, Shah Rukh Khan is no different. From owning an Indian Premier League franchise to watching World Cup games all over the world, Shah Rukh Khan is a very prominent figure when it comes to cricket in its more glamorous avatar. He's already associated with the men's cricket via the Knight Riders franchise, and with the women's Premier League underway, Shah Rukh Khan, who has been the poster boy of romance in Indian cinema for decades, grabbed all the shutterbugs at the dress rehearsal of the opening night of the WPL. If he is surrounded by his stunningly gorgeous co-stars on movie sets, he was quite the star attraction with the most celebrated female cricketers on the field. And look, I've worked with him briefly in the past. This was at a broadcast station, and yes, I can attest to the fact that this is all true. He's all genuine and can charm anyone and anything.
The second edition of the Women's Premier League or the WPL is set to dazzle once again. After setting the tone in the first season, there's more buzz with the second edition. All the big guns from across the globe taking center stage. It's like a carnival similar to the cash-rich IPL. If entertainment is what you're after, there's already plenty of it. And how can a carnival be complete without the glitz and the glamour? Yesterday particularly gave pure cinematic feels. The atmosphere at the Chinnaswamy Stadium yesterday, it's the cricket ground in the Indian city of Bengaluru, was electrifying. All thanks to the glamour of Bollywood, especially the biggest of them all, Shah Rukh Khan. Shah Rukh Khan is no different than any other Indian when it comes to cricket. The superstar reflects the same passion and zeal for the sport. Shah Rukh's relation to cricket dates back to 2008. This is when he started his journey as the owner of the Kolkata Knight Riders or KKR in the Indian Premier League or IPL. Thereafter, he played a major role in expanding the Knight Riders franchise. Now with teams in the West Indies, UAE and the US, KKR has a huge fan base the world over. So the other moment that took many down memory lane was Shah Rukh Khan rushing over to hug his very first captain at the IPL, Sourav Ganguly. A moment that again sent many into a tizzy. But the love isn't just restricted to his association with the IPL. Before the WPL opener, SRK like he's called, brought that ever-famous charm to the Women's League too. Defending champions Mumbai Indians and runners-up from last year, Delhi Capitals, kicked off the WPL calendar today, and Shah Rukh Khan was the opening act. So the Chinnaswamy Stadium yesterday was abuzz with not just the two teams and its players getting some training sessions in, but Shah Rukh and some other celebrities who were present to get the rehearsals in place for a flawless show. Pictures, videos, snapshots of the players of both sides meeting the charming King Khan has been splashed all over the internet. He met key players. First up, captain of Mumbai Indians Harmanpreet Kaur. There was such warmth and familiarity when the two got together. But the way the rest looked on, you could tell how charmed they all were just being in the presence of Shah Rukh Khan. He tends to have that effect on everyone. And the best was when Delhi Capitals captain Meg Lanning showed him how it's done. Delhi Capitals got their big moment with both Shah Rukh Khan and their captain, an Australian cricket legend, Meg Lanning, doing the iconic pose from his romance movies. And the internet loved it. Even Indian cricketer Jemimah Rodriguez couldn't stop herself from drawing the Bollywood narrative in an Instagram post. Sharing the picture, Jemimah wrote, "Coach Kabir Khan came and gave us his blessing before the start of the WPL." Jemimah referred to Shah Rukh's role as an Indian hockey coach Kabir Khan in a famous Bollywood movie based on the Indian women's hockey team. Things that happen when cricket meets Bollywood are bound to go viral. The talent is all there. The other box ticked for WPL, Shah Rukh Khan kickstarting proceedings. He's a global superstar with fans all over the world. Shah Rukh and his little gesture was not just a pleasant surprise for the women cricketers, but had set the perfect tune for an entertaining edition to follow.
We've come to the end of the show, but there is still time for Last Serve. Ending the week here with an emotional moment from Kenya. People gathered in huge numbers to mourn the demise of Kenyan marathon runner Kelvin Kiptum. Kiptum's body was brought back home. He had passed away on the 11th of February in a tragic car accident. That does it here on Firstpost. I hope you enjoyed this one. It is, of course, the weekend here, so have a good one. I'll see you again next week on Monday. Till then, take care.
As the world feels the shock of wars, India stands as a beacon of strength. The Firstpost Defence Summit 2024 will showcase cutting-edge technologies, forging partnerships between industry, academia and research organizations. Witness the transformative story of India's defence sector. Firstpost Defence Summit 2024.